and subscribe.
Fight fans, ladies and gentlemen, the big, bestest fight card we have ever seen has arrived. Fight week is here. We are going to preview this show, and I've got one half of the Sports to Sang podcast with me again, Rob Boxing Shrew. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me back again so soon.
No problem, mate. It's great to have you on again. And I'm not going to shout it as much as Carl Froch in front of how he did when he knocked George Groves out in front of 80,000 fans, but the last time me and you previewed a big show, we got the main event spot on, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
I think this one might be a bit more difficult to choose between, but yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, at least we can spout about that one anyway. The first fight I'm going to actually cover with you today is the World Heavyweight title fight, IBF on the line, between Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker. Fascinating fight. But I'm going to ask you, as the headline says there, before we actually get a fight prediction off you, do you think that Daniel Dubois is overlooking Joseph Parker? The reason why I ask you this, from my opinion, why I'm asking you this question, after Alexander Usyk won his World Heavyweight title fight against Tyson Fury, Daniel Dubois, with already the Joseph Parker fight signed, jumps into the ring and gets in front of Usyk's face straight away and start saying, I want you next, I want you. And even though he's got the Parker fight signed, we've seen a newfound confidence with Daniel Dubois as of late. Fair play to him after what he done with Anthony Joshua. And then we've also seen things lately of, I'll knock Joseph Parker out in 5 rounds. I don't mind a bit of confidence. I've said this to a lot of people about Ben Whittaker. There's nothing wrong with it. You can roll with it. But is he getting too overconfident, in your opinion?
Yes. Yeah, he is. But I feel like he's kind of trying too hard to play the heel when he's been nicey for so long. You can't just suddenly switch up WWE style and hit someone with a steel chair. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a bit weird. And I think like when he gets in, and I don't think he's got it up here to do it intellectually either. Like I feel he gets in the ring and says, "Oh, Usyk, I want you." Like, yeah, I feel like he'll be fully locked into Parker on Saturday, but. Yeah, the shenanigans before it's been a bit disrespectful because, you know, both fighters have got such momentum after both losing to Joe Joyce and, overlook Joe Parker at your peril.
Exactly, I totally agree with that. I mean, you know, this is Joseph Parker. He's on a brilliant momentum at the moment with the victories he's had. You know, newfound form under Andy Lee. He's looking better than ever. Brilliant fight to look forward to. How do you see the fight going?
I've always said whoever Parker fights, he wins rounds. You know, he got knocked down twice against Zhang, and I was fully confident when the final bell went, but he'd won way too many rounds for Zhang to even have a shout, and that turned out to be pretty accurate. He won a lot of rounds, obviously, against Wilder. I don't see Dubois standing there and just taking it like Wilder did a bit. I think Dubois will have a bit more about him. He showed like he was quite mobile at times against Joshua, wasn't he? And
Yeah, he was.
And the way he got out of trouble just before the finish as well against Joshua, you know, it was very quite intelligent as well. I do think Parker will win rounds, and if it goes 12, I struggle not to see Parker winning. But he got knocked down twice by Zhang, and I feel Dubois probably got a bit more in his fists than Zhang. So for that reason, I'd still go with Dubois at the moment, to be fair. Maybe not as soon as Dubois picking, but with that power, who's to say it wouldn't last 1 round, 11 round? It's so hard to call, isn't it?
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, you are right. He has got that equaliser. He's got massive power. But I look at this fight with Joseph Parker. He's he's more of a shrewder boxer, I think, than people give him credit for. I think he's underestimated really here. I've looked at the betting. I think he's huge odds really. I mean, Daniel Dubois is a good fighter. His jab has been absolutely excellent lately, particularly against Anthony Joshua. He's fighting better than ever. The last few fights particularly, he's really stepped it up. But I think this is a 50-50 fight. But if I was going to edge my bets, I'm probably edging towards a Joseph Parker points win. Yeah. But he has got to stay out of trouble. He has got caught, Joseph Parker, against Zhang. but he has showed in the past, even against Dillian White several years ago now,
Yeah,
brilliant powers of recovery. He's got a good chin. He does get dropped, but he does show good powers of recovery.
fair enough.
And I think I just got a feeling that it's Joseph Parker's time. Obviously, Dubois is the younger man. Parker's been around for a while, but he's not that old himself. I mean, Joseph Parker's only 33 himself. Daniel Dubois 27. But I just feel that this could be Joseph Parker's time. I really do, and I like both guys. Like I say about being overlooked, Parker. There's nothing wrong with Daniel Dubois' confidence. I like it. He's the Brit. You know, I'm aiming for him. I'd like him to win, but I like Parker as well. And I
Yeah,
think it's the fight of two nice guys. But I think Dubois just needs to keep it a little bit steady. The way he's getting a little bit ahead of his station for me. So
yeah,
I'm going to go a Joseph Parker points win. But I'm not
yeah. Fair enough.
I'm not absolutely certain on that. I mean, do you feel comfortable with your prediction?
No, not at all. I've kind of got two predictions. I've got Parker on points, who Dubois blasts him out. I don't see anything in between. I don't
Mm.
see Parker stopping Dubois, and I certainly don't see Dubois winning on points. So, yeah, I think between us, we've got
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Hopefully for the
I
viewers,
think
yeah.
so. I think so. Like I've been chatting to loads of people about like Parker. Like I know if Parker wins on points, and I haven't put any money on it, I'll be very disappointed because I've always been a big advocate of him winning rounds against whoever he fights. But
Yeah.
just that power in it. Like he's gonna get caught at some point, isn't he? 36 minutes is a long time.
The thing is though, Rob, if Daniel Dubois gets dragged into a very active fight against Parker, and like say Parker wins rounds, will Parker drag him late, and will Daniel Dubois start to tire? He was possibly starting to get a bit tired against AJ. Would you say that for the stoppage?
Yeah, certainly against Usyk prior to that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So he does tire down the straight. So if Parker can drag him late, who knows? But that's just one fight we're previewing on this card. I mean, it's like I say, it's the greatest card we've ever seen. And the next fight I want to bring up, which will probably be the show opener, which is Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith, which is a WBO interim light heavyweight title. Just a quick one on this for me. I think Callum Smith, for me, will win this fight. I just think that Callum Smith's had the more experience than Joshua Buatsi. And when I was looking at Joshua Buatsi's record earlier, some of the fighters he's been in, albeit Willie Hutchinson last time, we don't really know sort of how good he is yet. And I look at Dan Aziz. Dan Aziz at the time was thriving. Since then, he's gone completely downhill. Has Joshua Buatsi beat anybody really of note for you?
When you put it like that, yeah, it's sugar coated, isn't it? Definitely.
Mm,
I think this is another 50-50 for me. I mean, the Buatsi thing's always been a bit strange because when he turned over after the 2016, was it 2016 Olympics? Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
mm,
Yeah, 2016 Olympics. I thought he was an absolute shoe-in to be world champion. There was a few others from that crop who went on to do very well, and him and Josh Kelly, I thought were shoe-ins for like world titles pretty quickly.
yeah.
We're 6, 7, 8 years down the line, and he hasn't even had a shot yet. And I feel like if he loses to Callum Smith, he might never get one,
Mm,
which is mad. I think these belts will get fragmented as the two big boys move on, whether Beterbiev retires or moves up, or Bivol moves up to cruiser. But it's all for me about what Callum Smith's got left in the tank. He had two bad
yeah, I
victories.
agree with that. Yeah,
Sorry, bad victories, bad losses. Canelo beat him to death, really, didn't he? And Beterbiev did a right job on him,
yeah,
and that can scar a fighter.
yeah.
We haven't really seen him go in with anyone since then. Bit of a confidence fight. So yeah, I mean, I would edge Boatsi, to be honest, but I just
Okay.
think for the freshness.
Yeah,
But again, toss of a coin. It
yeah.
wouldn't surprise me if either I could see Callum Smith hurting him. I could see Callum
Mm.
Smith winning on points. I could see Buatsi winning on points. So I'll go with Buatsi, but with very little confidence.
Well, I think sometimes Buatsi is a bit guilty of just going through the motions in a fight as well, whereas he's never had anyone like Callum Smith in front of him. Obviously, he's a tall fighter. He's got the reach, and I just think Callum Smith's experience. I agree what you're saying about you don't know what he's got left, etc. But I just think Callum Smith, the height, the reach, the experience he's got. I don't think Buatsi's ever come up against anything like this before, and I just think Callum Smith. Don't think it'd be a stoppage, but I think Callum Smith will win this one on points. And would I say I'm confident with it? I'm probably 60-40 that I would favour Callum Smith, yeah, to win the fight, yeah, I would,
Isn't
yeah.
it mad?
So,
This is potentially opening the show. Like this comes back to what we were discussing on my last one, where we were talking about the Eubank Ben card. Like, is it crap? And we were
mm.
thinking, well, we've been very, very spoiled by cards like this. And over the last couple of years, we've been screaming out for like Boatza, Yard, Smith to all
And
fight
then,
each other,
yeah, yeah,
and now they're fucking fighting each other, opening
exactly.
a show in Saudi Arabia, and that just shows what it's doing to the British market. It's great for one card, but it,
Yeah.
it makes the rest of the year suffer. I just see, it's such a shame that this isn't headlining the O2 or, the Liverpool, what was the Echo Arena. Like, how is this opening a show? I get it, and they're being paid main event money to open a show when there's no one in there. Like, it baffles me, absolutely baffles, and it's a shame, it's a real shame.
No, I get where you're coming from. I mean, this is why this is the best fight card ever, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
50-50 fights, all down the straight. Fantastic to see. Next fight, Hamza Shiraz, Carlos Adames, WBC middleweight title. Do you want to go first on this one? What do you think with this one?
Shiraz stoppage.
Really, do you think it'll be an easy night's work?
I don't know about easy night's work. I
You
mean,
just seem so confident.
I feel like people are building up Adames more than Amo Williams when he
Yeah.
beat. I know Amo Williams dropped Shiraz, but the way he came back and took him out was fucking brilliant, wasn't it?
Mm.
And again, momentum comes into it. I think being a man of his faith, winning a world title in Saudi Arabia, it's a big, big night for him. And I think I know the Amo Williams was a bit of a coming out party for him, but I think this is the one where people all the way around the world are going to be looking at fucking hell, Hamza Shiraz, what a beast.
Yeah. Do you think that Carlos Adames is the easiest world title shot as well for Hamza Shiraz to take here? Out of Janabek, obviously you got Janabek, Lara. Would you say it's the easiest option, Carlos Adames?
Him or Lara, yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I think if you were him, you would probably, yeah, you wouldn't want Janabek as your first shot at a world title. I would
No.
still be confident with Shiraz,
Mm.
but not as much as against Adames. It's a good question.
Mm.
What about you?
Yeah, I would say it's the easiest option. When I was looking at the world title holders earlier, I looked at it and I thought straight away, I thought Carlos Adames here looks the easiest option. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's an easy fight, but I think he's took the easiest option out of them world champions. I think Hamza Shiraz will win this fight, possibly a late stoppage as well. You've got the height, the gain, you've got the reach. I just think that Hamza Shiraz is looking really, really good. It seems a long, long time ago when he was struggling against Bradley Skeet, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. What do you think about Shiraz sort of long term? Like me and Alex speak about him a lot on the pod, and I think he's going to be like a multi-weight world champion. I do. I think you know you got to think he was a light middleweight at one point. It's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah,
How did he make that
yeah,
weight?
it's madness. Yeah,
And I mean, he will win titles at super middle, at light heavy. I mean, could he get to cruiser? I mean, he's fucking massive, isn't
yeah,
he?
he's massive for the weight. Yeah, it definitely is.
And he's so powerful that power
He is.
would carry at least to light heavyweight.
Well, as regards your question you asked, being a multi-weight world champion, I'll answer that question after this fight.
Fine.
Well,
Hey, you want to get those splinters out your ass?
I'm not supposed to do that as the host, either, am I? Next fight, heavyweight, Zilai Zhang versus Ajit Kabayel. I love this fight. I'll go first on this one. Zhang, big, huge, horrible southpaw, big puncher, coming up against the guy Kabayel, who's peaked late, really, as regards where he was a few years ago. But I really like Caballero. I've always rated him since I saw him fight Derek Chisora a few years ago in Monte Carlo now. I always remember him outpointing Derek Chisora then. I thought he looks a good heavyweight. But then he went on to fight people like Kevin Johnson and old war horses like that, and he done all right. But he's really come into his own now by beating Akhmedliov. No, what's his name? That big, tall Makhmudamov. Sorry, the big, tall heavyweight. I fancied him to.
The Uzbekistan guy.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I fancied him to win on points, but he actually stopped him. I think this is the perfect fight for Caballero. I think he'll outpoint Zhang. Yeah, I just think he's going to move around the ring well. Zhang's 41 years of age now, and I think what will happen is I think Caballero will take him down the stretch, gas him out, and win this on points. I don't see Zhang being able to knock Caballal out, but Caballal can get caught a little bit at times, but I just think he's going to have too much movement for Zhang. Do you agree? I have a different opinion.
I wrote a few notes down before we came on here, and the big word was mobility. So very
Yeah,
similar thing to what you just said.
yeah,
Yes, he's not Usyk. Do you know what I mean,
mm,
Caballel? But he's if you look, just go back to Zhang's three best wins are against Joe Joyce twice and Deontay Wilder, who have got no movement between them.
yeah,
So I think Caballel will offer a lot more of that, and he's going to have, yeah, like you say, 41-year-old Zhang walking around the ring. I mean, could he stop Zhang late? That's a big call, but I've got him on points as well, Caballel. I was having a look at the odds earlier, and it's pretty good as well for points if anyone fancies a flutter. Um, I just think, again, to add to the mobility thing, Zhang knocked down Parker twice and still lost on points because
yeah,
of the
exactly.
mobility. So
Yeah,
that is the key word for me.
yeah. And just bringing up there, we don't advise gambling on this channel, by the way.
Absolutely not. No, gamble responsibly.
Yeah. Um. Well, that's a really good fight for me as well. I think it will be good. Fascinating heavyweight fight. You've got two guys that are really up there, possibly going to go on to world title shots as well. Is that an interim bout? Was it as well, that one?
Which
The
was this? Sorry.
Zhang and Caballel for an
Yeah,
interim.
possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So we'll move on to the next one now. We'll do Floyd Schofield versus Shaka Stevenson. Well, Shaka Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield. What do you think about the world title fight? What do you think about this fight? Oh, this has got a bit of needle in it, but it's not. It's probably the least fight on the card that I can sit there and go, I'm really looking forward to that.
I just feel like it's
That
going to
answer
be
you?
so boring. Like, yeah,
Really? Do you think it's going to be a
I
boring
agree. It's
fight?
the one I'm least interested in. Like I respect Shakur Stevenson, like for what he does. He's fucking brilliant, but
Mm.
it depends what you like. I mean, if you like being bored to death, I just think he's really boring to watch. Like he can be, he's really skillful. But it's a tough watch. Like, do you remember Guillermo Rigondeaux?
Yeah, I
Like,
remember. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like he didn't get the press and the prestige that Shakur gets, but similar vibes, like world level fighter. I know Shakur's probably a bit better than that, but it was a tough sell, tough sell. Like he doesn't even sell out in New Jersey, and that's where he's from, and he's this big star. I just compare him to. Unfortunately, he's in an era where you've got Teofimo Lopez, Tank, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, who do good numbers. And they're all quite exciting in their own different kind of way as well. I really struggle with Shakur. And people compare him to Mayweather, but Mayweather was exciting.
yeah.
It was exciting. Shut out probably 11-1, 12-0 on points for me. But yeah, I'm not really looking forward to that. That should have opened the show.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, sometimes when you open a show, do you want the what you class as an exciting fight to open the show? I'm not saying Callum Smith Buatsi is going to be riveting stuff, but I would have probably put something like Shaka Stevenson, Floyd Schofield on first. There is a bit of needle in it though. We'll probably say all this now, and it's going to be the fight of the night in the end, and we'll get castigated for this. So we'll see. But I'm going to go Shaka Stevenson to win on Shakur rather. I would fancy him to win on points. I think.
Do
But
you think obviously Keyshawn Davis has just become champion in that division as well, hasn't he?
mm,
So you got him, Shakur, and Tank and Loma as the four world champions. Ain't it a shame that you're looking at that bunch and probably thinking that none of them are going to fight each other anytime soon? Maybe Loma might fight one of them,
mm.
but the other three.
Yeah, I know it's one of them weight divisions where you do look at all that, don't you, and think, it's
Yeah.
sad, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I did watch that Keyshawn Davis the other day. Was it Saturday, Friday?
Yeah.
He looks impressive, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is good. Made me laugh. There was a few, I won't name names, but there was a few accounts on Twitter who said something, I'm paraphrasing here, saying, I told you he was going to be the next best thing. I was like, told you it was a world title fight. And he was in the Olympics. Do you know what I mean? Like we haven't found a hidden gem here. He was, he was a fucking Olympian who's now world champion. It
That's
made me
Twitter.
laugh, but
That's Twitter
I
for you.
know, but
Social
yeah.
media.
Oh,
You
I
can,
still would love to see him fight Andy Cruz again one day.
oh yeah, fantastic fight, definitely. Well, the next one we're going to come to is Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Israel Madrimov. I spoke to you earlier about this. You're not that hot on this fight either, are you? I think this will be a very, very good fight. WBC World Interim Super Welterweight title. You got Virgil Ortiz, 26 years of age, Madrimov 30. Last time, Madrimov, a defeat to Terence Crawford. Virgil Ortiz, a win over Boachuk on points. Boachuk was on the last Saudi card, was it, against Ishmael Davis?
Yeah.
Albeit it was worlds apart in terms of where they're at in levels.
Left him
Boachuk,
late as well, didn't he?
yeah, Boachuk destroyed him. But that win for Virgil Ortiz last time, he got away with that one a little bit against Boachuk. Madrimov fought well against Terence Crawford. Judging on last performance, I would probably edge my bets here to possibly Boachuk. Sorry, Boachuk. Virgil Ortiz. I know, yeah, sorry. I would probably edge my bets towards Madrimov for the way Virgil Ortiz fought against Boachuk. I think he looked a little bit open. For me, Virgil Ortiz looked a bit open in that fight. And I think Madrimov did look quite good against Terence Crawford, albeit he didn't win the fight, but he looks like he does look a decent boxer. And I do think Virgil Ortiz could be outboxed in this fight by Madrimov. How do you see it?
Well, when you asked me for my predictions this morning, I said Virgil Ortiz on points, but I've been swaying back and forth, and I don't really know. I think this is one where you have to just go with your gut. Both got very good records, haven't they? I thought Madrimov did really well against Crawford. Better than I thought he would. I thought Crawford, yes, he was stepping up, but I just thought he was going to run away with it. And like a couple of judges had it like 115, 113 or something like that, didn't they? So very
they did,
close.
yeah.
I thought it was maybe a little wider than that, but he was more than competent at that level. So yeah, I struggle with this one because I've always liked Virgil Ortiz. I thought he was such a competent boxer, and his record, his KO record, is actually so deceiving, isn't it? He's got so many stoppages, but I do think it will go the distance. Last quid would probably go on Ortiz, but again, maybe it's 50-50s. It's made the card what it is. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes either way, but I'll go with my gut and say Ortiz, but again, with very little confidence on that one.
Well, the one thing you can say is in the fight, Virgil Ortiz will be the aggressor. He comes forward, he throws a lot of shots. He's exciting to watch, but I just think that he can be picked off a little bit. And I think when you look at a boxer like Madrimov, to have that experience of fighting Terence Crawford last time, and he did put up a good performance. I just think Virgil Ortiz, for that performance against Boachuk as well, which I think he was gifted one, really. I thought Boachuk won the fight. We all know that Boachuk looks superb, but I just think Madrimov can outbox Virgil Ortiz in. But another good fight. Well, like we said, all 50-50s, aren't they?
Yeah.
So another exciting fight there to watch on
You're gonna
Saturday.
have to write all these down because we've got different opinions on most of them.
Which is good. That's what makes the show so good.
Yeah.
I will jot them all down. Don't you worry. Well, what we're going to do now is come to the final fight, which is Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol, the undisputed world light heavyweight titles, the rematch. Last time it was 115, 113, 116, 112, 114, 114 in favour of Beterbiev. Excellent fight to watch, and I'm really excited for this one again. Can you see a different outcome in this fight?
God, it's so difficult, isn't it? I would go with repeat. I would go with Beterbiev. I went with him the first time, albeit by stoppage. I never thought Beterbiev would outbox Bivol and win on a point. All right, it might have been controversial for some, but to win a points decision against Bivol is a big ask, isn't it? And he did it. One thing, I'm actually really happy I'm able to watch this fight properly because I was watching the first fight. I was on my way back from New York, and I was in the airport waiting for my flight, and I had it on my phone on a perfectly legitimate way to watch it. So I'm really happy to be able to sit down, have some food, and enjoy this one. Bloody hell! First of all, props to both of them going straight in.
Definitely.
There was talk of maybe a run around for both of them before going straight back in, but for two fighters at the top of the division of the sport to go straight back in again with each other after such a close call, it's so admirable.
Money does help. Money does help, but it's still, you can't knock it.
It does. But I'm going to go with Beterbiev, and a lot of people online today have been saying Bivol needs to go at him a bit more.
I've seen that.
To pick those, but I think I know you're in agreement with this. We spoke, but that's the fucking worst thing you can do with Beterbiev. Look what happened to Anthony Yard. Like he put it on him, and Beterbiev is such an underrated counterpuncher with power, and I think Bivol will get picked off. And if he does take that approach, I would look at Beterbiev not hearing the final bell again and stopping him.
Well, I agree with what you like. I did say that on social media earlier. It's easier said than done. But the one thing we have got to agree on, I think, is Bivol does need to be a little bit more active, and in working on that activeness in the fight, he needs to be careful of his engine as well. I thought he was tiring a bit in the first one
Was this
because of
Bivol? Sorry.
Dimitri Bivol.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he
yeah.
was tiring in the first one. With being more active, he's got to be mindful of his engine as well. That he isn't just active and starts tiring out. But I think Bivol has got the ring credentials to be able to work on what happened last time. Even though I thought he nicked the first fight, but I think he will have the mindset to work on what he done last time and increase on that. And I think he's going to win this on points. I think it would be close, but I just think Bivol is the better boxer of the two.
Yeah.
Beterbiev's the aggressive one. The Beterbiev's the puncher. There's no doubt about that. The records speak for themselves. But I just feel like Bivol can correct things and learn from what he did last fight with his mistakes and get the points win by just doing a little bit more. But he has got to be so careful with Beterbiev here because we know what Beterbiev's capable of. But again, Beterbiev's 40 years of age, Bivol's 34. If anyone can get that more in the fight, is Bivol for me for being the younger man.
Do you think there's anything in the conspiracy theories today that Turkey Al Sheikh has said there's a trilogy fight there if Bivol wins? I mean, we heard this before the second Fury Usyk fight, and everyone was thinking, oh, maybe they're going to set up a trilogy. But these things don't always work out that way, do they? I mean, do you see anything in that?
No, I don't. Is this is just social media talk? Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, the rumours today. Yeah, there's loads of things going around. No, I don't. And I think both fighters won't be distracted by any of that talk either. I think they're both going to be fully focused on this fight. Are you expecting a really good fight again? I am.
yeah. I think like it's just going to be a bit of a chess match.
Yeah.
But it's just such a high quality. Two of the
Oh
best. Bit
yeah.
of Fury and Usyk, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just the absolute top of their game at the same time for undisputed. It's just it's magical, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, that's another fight we've disagreed on there, isn't it? So I am going to have to once this goes on YouTube, I have to watch all this back and write it all down what I've done here. But
Yeah, yeah.
most of these fights we spoke about, all 50-50s. The only
Bar
one
bar Shakur, really,
I
isn't
was
it?
just going to say,
Yeah.
well, and I'd probably edge towards. I don't really see Callum Smith Buatsi as a 50-50 for where Callum Smith's been either. I don't see that as a 50-50 fight, but it's still one that can go either way. But it's just my opinion that I see Callum Smith having too much experience. But if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. This is the beauty of the sport. And I just want to confirm as well, Boachuk is definitely not fighting on this card, what I said earlier. I'm trying to concentrate on everything, get everything out, and I'm saying Boachuk's fighting on Saturday, but he's definitely not. But Rob, been fascinating again to discuss this preview with you, and I cannot wait for Saturday fight night now. Where are you watching it? Just in the beauty of your own home or
Yeah,
going
yeah,
out?
I'll be watching at home. I'm not one for going out to the pub because I love hearing the commentary and the analysis, the
Yeah.
interviews, the ring walks. I'd say the atmosphere, but you know, um, but yeah, always at home, mate. Unless I'm at the actual arena. How about you?
Yeah, I watch it at home. I do. I am prone to go out for a bit of boxing to the pub and that now and then, but I will watch this one at home. And when it's such a big event like it is, I do like to watch it at home. And like you say, hear the commentary, hear the analysis of the fights. And let's be honest, when you're having a few jars, it all loses track, and you have to go back and watch it next day, don't you?
Are you just while you're on it, we haven't caught up since. How did you get on at the co-op live? What do you think?
Yeah, I love the arena. Thought it was really good. A few
Yeah.
idiots in the crowd having a few scraps and that, which I picked up on one of my shows before. But it's just a general thing that happens at boxing these days, isn't it?
Always before the main event as well. Absolute knobheads.
Yeah, just before and during the main event as well, when Chisora and Wallin were at it in the ring, they were at it in the crowd.
It always stems from like someone who's pissed up and they're standing in front of someone who's sitting down, and they just
Yeah,
ask them politely to sit down, and they don't, and that's what kicks it off most of the time.
yeah.
But yeah, I was there for Catterall at the weekend, and I love it. It wasn't quite as full as when you went, but
Mm.
I just think yeah, it's just a brilliant arena, isn't it? It's better than
Oh
the
yeah, it's
O2.
beautiful. Yeah, definitely. Well, you say the O2. I thought you was going to say the AO Arena. I haven't been the O2, but the AO Arena in Manchester is still a nice arena.
Yeah,
But I do, obviously it's newer, but I do prefer the new one, the Co-op Live. A lot more better facilities. Obviously, it's bigger as well, isn't it? When it's fully
yeah.
open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel quite sorry for the people who like are behind the AO Arena though, because that Manchester Arena's had so many like legendary nights. You know, like going
Mm.
back to Hatton and before that, like that place is barely going to get a look in for any of the big nights anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well, I did see there was something announced there the other night, but I don't know if was it Misfits, the Misfits show. I think might be at the AO
Oh
Arena.
God, I
That's
don't
what I say.
care.
Keep them there. Leave them there, will
Oh,
you? Yeah,
the
yeah,
KSI Arena. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Leave them there. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Well, that's going to conclude the today's show. I hope everyone's liked it. And once again, Boachuk is not fighting on this card. I might even have to put that on Twitter and people watch it as well. Thanks for coming on and previewing this show with me, Rob. This is the best fight card ever we have ever seen. Really, really looking forward to it. Everyone's going to be tuning in on Saturday night. Fascinating stuff. As Steve Spivak says, everyone get your beers and snacks in. I'm not going to quote his line, but everyone get your beers and snacks in. Relax at home for a great night of boxing in Saudi. Thanks for your time coming on, Rob, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, mate. Keep doing what you're doing.
Cheers, and I hope everyone likes, comments, and subscribe. More subscriptions would be really, really appreciated. I appreciate all the support I've had on my channel, and thank you once again to everyone, and enjoy the boxing on Saturday. Cheers.